Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we have President Joe Biden up against Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia. Now, before we get into this video, I would highly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. If you like seeing predictions like these, I would greatly appreciate it if you were to subscribe. But other than that, so let's get right into this. So Glenn Youngkin, he would definitely be probably one of the best GOP candidates the Republicans could run in 2024. I think he'd make a lot of states that are like solidly blue or likely blue a lot more competitive, especially in the South. And I did not mean to make North Carolina safe Republican. I meant to make South Carolina that. Okay. So other than that, I think he'd do a lot better with independent voters, and he'd still unite most of Trump's base, like we saw in the 2021 governor election in Virginia here. He still turned out those Trump voters with them. But yeah, I think Glenn Youngkin, he's just a better version of Ron DeSantis. He's a lot less right-wing than Ron DeSantis, and I still think he would get a lot of Trump voters to turn out for him. So let's get right into this. So the first state I would make safe would probably be Iowa. Again, I think most Republicans would probably be able to win Iowa by a safe Republican margin at this point, just judging by how Biden's approval rating in Iowa is pretty bad. I think it's really transitioning into a safe Republican state at this point. With Ohio, again, I think it would be a 9-point Glenn Youngkin victory in this state. It would still not be a safe Republican state, but I just see it still ending up trending more and more in favor of the Republicans over time. Alaska, Glenn Youngkin would be able to lock down this state. It wouldn't be likely Republican against him. In Texas and Florida, I'd put these both as likely Republican states. I could see him doing a lot better, especially with suburban turnout, and even doing a bit better in the urban areas in Texas, and maybe even doing a bit better with urban areas in Florida. Again, he's a lot more of a less controversial Republican. He actually has a positive approval rating in Virginia. So, again, I think he'd be able to appeal to a lot more moderate independent voters while still appealing to the GOP base, still turning out those rural Republicans. But again, you pretty much lock down Florida and Texas. No chance of them flipping in a Biden v. Youngkin matchup. With Colorado, again, even with the best Republican candidate, even one that's a lot more moderate on the issues, I still think Colorado is an over 10% Joe Biden victory. We saw that with Joe O'Dea. Even though he tried so much to appeal to independent voters, still wasn't enough to even make it a likely state. So safe for Democratic Colorado. North Carolina in a Biden v. Youngkin matchup, would it be likely Republican? It probably would be. I think Youngkin would probably win North Carolina by 5.5% against Joe Biden. He would do a lot better with independent voters while still getting that rural Republican turnout. In Georgia, I guess see it doing the same thing. I think he'll probably win Georgia by 3 points against Joe Biden, just doing better with those independent voters, following the Brian Kemp campaign here and just winning Georgia by a pretty decent margin, still getting those rural turnout that go for him here in Georgia. In New Mexico, he would probably make it a lot more competitive, doing better with independent voters, but still not a flip here. Again, New Mexico is still a typically likely blue Democratic state, but he would make it a bit more competitive. Into Arizona and Nevada, I could see him probably doing quite well in both these states. I think he would do better with independent voters, anti-Trump Republicans, independent-leaning or center-right independents. He would probably do a bit better among in Arizona, and he'd probably do quite well in Nevada as well. He'd probably be the best GOP candidate to take back Nevada for the Republicans, honestly. In Nebraska second, again, I think he would probably be quite similar to Don Bacon here. I think he would probably win Nebraska second against Joe Biden just with a better margin among independent voters. The state of Virginia. Now, polls actually show Youngkin winning Virginia against Joe Biden while showing Trump losing against Biden in this state. So even though gubernatorial elections aren't so quite similar to the national elections, I think in this case, Glenn Youngkin would actually win Virginia against Joe Biden. I really see it happening just based off those polls showing Youngkin up by so much against Biden. Like sometimes it's over 10 it's showing. I don't think it would be over 10. I think it would probably be more likely a 2 to 3 point victory. Just being realistic here, it's still a D plus 10 state from 2020, but a lot of that could be just a lot of establishment voters disliking Trump in Virginia. You run any other Republican, probably make it a likely blue state. or even lean blue if they're good enough. But with Youngkin, he's the best candidate to win back Virginia, and I really think he would. And that would give him the election right there. He doesn't even need to worry about the Rust Belt states here. That's why he's such a good candidate. He doesn't have to really worry about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Okay. The state of Maine, I think it would still be likely Democratic. I don't see it going down to lean blue, but I think he would do very well in Maine second. It's a more moderate type of district, and he would definitely be seen as a more moderate type of Republican while still getting good rural turnout. He really wouldn't anger the GOP base as much, I would think. I think a lot of Trump voters would still go behind him. In New Hampshire, he'd probably be the Republican that make it the closest to competitive, and I could honestly see him narrowly flipping it against Joe Biden, just due to Biden's lower approval rating being in like the low 40s. Okay, the last four states. I think Minnesota would go down to lean Democratic, while I see Pennsylvania probably ending up going towards Glenn Youngkin, and Wisconsin probably still ends up going towards Glenn Youngkin. Again, I think he might lose a bit of rural support with the populist Republicans here, but I think he would make up for that with better margins in the suburbs of each of these two states right here. But Michigan, still think that goes to Joe Biden, even though Glenn Youngkin would probably win the popular vote by about 2 points against Biden. I just think the Democratic trifecta in Michigan would definitely make the state a bit bluer. It'd probably be easier to vote in Michigan, boosting urban turnout for the Democrats. Plus, you might lose a bit of populist Republicans. Again, Republicans need to do pretty well in the rural areas in Michigan to make it super competitive. But he would do a bit better in the suburbs, but not enough to flip the state. It would still be tilt Democratic in a Youngkin v. Biden matchup. So I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Comment below if you liked this video or you just disagree with the video. I don't mind. Any criticism, you could say whatever you want in the comments. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.